With so many big problems facing our planet right now, it's time to face an inconvenient truth. The world is getting sick. I am Michael.
And I'm Andrea. You see, global warming, pollution, melting ice caps, and the vanishing rainforest are all big problems facing us right now, and they're all making the Earth sick.
You might not realize that you can help solve these problems, but you can, because everything you do, from buying a can of soda to brushing your teeth, has an effect on our environment. And if we all get together and do what's right, we can help the Earth get better.
So stick around. We're going to examine the environment, things like greenhouse gases, global warming, and vanishing rainforests.
We'll unearth some surprising facts.
Conduct an eco-investigation.
And then create a step-by-step checklist of all the ways you, your family, your school, and your community can help save the Earth.
It's called becoming eco-friendly. Now, I'll bet you've probably heard something about pollution, or the vanishing rainforest, or global warming, but you're a little confused about what it all means.
Well, they're all part of our environmental problems our Earth is facing right now. Smoggy skies, dirty water, and the trash we throw away every day. These are the things that are making the Earth sick.
Here are some words you should know that deal with the environment. Do you know what climate is? It's another word for the weather. We usually say climate when we're talking about the world, and weather when we're talking about your city or state.
What's the atmosphere? The atmosphere is simply the air that surrounds the Earth. What are greenhouse gases?
A gas is something you can't see, like the air we breathe. But when we burn something like wood or coal, it creates smoke. That smoke is made up of gases, and some of those gases are called greenhouse gases.
Later, we'll learn that scientists believe greenhouse gases are making our planet get warmer. They call this global warming.
Do you know what CO2 is? CO2, or carbon dioxide, is the name of one of the greenhouse gases. Cars and trucks and some power plants all make lots and lots of carbon dioxide, and that pollutes the atmosphere. What's ozone?
Ozone is an invisible gas like oxygen that's part of the atmosphere. There's a thin ozone layer between 12 and 30 miles above us, and it's important because it shields the Earth from what is called ultraviolet light.
If too much ultraviolet light filters through the ozone layer, it would cause some big problems here on Earth.
You probably know what fuel is, the things we use to make heat or power. But what are fossil fuels?
Fossil fuels are the kind of fuels that are made of oil, gas, or coal. Fossil fuels are not renewable, which means the Earth cannot make more of them during your lifetime. When they're gone, they're gone.
Do you know what a renewable resource is? Renewable resources are things like trees, water, and the wind. Trees are renewable because the Earth can grow more trees. But oil and coal are not renewable because it takes a very, very long time to make more oil or coal.
Have you ever heard the term carbon footprint? Your carbon footprint is the amount of pollution you leave behind when you do something, like rat in a car or throw away a piece of paper. To be eco-friendly, you should leave as small a carbon footprint on the Earth as you can. Now, before we figure out how these things are making the Earth sick, there are just 3 more words you should know.
Reduce means to make something smaller or less. For example, we need to reduce greenhouse gases if we're going to slow down global warming.
Release means to let go. If we release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, it will make the Earth warmer.
And finally, efficient. If something is efficient, it means it's working in the best possible manner. For example, a light bulb is efficient when it uses very little electricity.
Just like you, the planet Earth needs to stay in good health if it is to provide us with water to drink, food to eat, and good air to breathe.
So, what exactly is wrong with the Earth? Most of the time, things seem pretty nice, right?
Yeah, but let's start with the greenhouse effect.
Have you ever sat in front of a big sunny window on a cold, cold winter's day? Why does the sun make it so warm in your home when the temperature is well below freezing on the outside? Your window does 2 things. It lets the sun shine in, and it prevents much of the heat from escaping back outside. Your window is what's called a heat trap. Now, imagine how hot it would get on a sunny day if your house was made entirely of windows. That's kind of like the greenhouse effect.
Think of the Earth as being surrounded by a lot of windows. As the sun shines, the atmosphere normally lets just the right amount of heat reach the ground, and then prevents some of that heat from escaping back into space. That's fine, since the atmosphere is supposed to trap some of the sun's heat to warm us.
The problem is, our atmosphere is changing. Some of the things we do create greenhouse gases that pollute the atmosphere. As the atmosphere gets polluted, more and more gases build up, and more heat gets trapped around the Earth. Eventually, the Earth gets hotter.
Scientists tell us that one of the reasons we have global warming is that the ozone layer is vanishing and letting too much ultraviolet light reach the Earth. So what's destroying the ozone layer? One of the biggest culprits is a family of chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs. You already know that carbon dioxide, or CO2, is made by burning fossil fuels, and that fossil fuels are a major cause of air pollution.
But did you know, for every gallon of gasoline a car burns, 19 pounds of carbon dioxide are released into the atmosphere? Figure it out. If your family car drives 1,000 miles a month, it puts up to 240,000 pounds, and that's 120 additional tons of CO2 into the atmosphere every year.
Multiply that by all the cars and trucks in the world, and that's a lot of pollution. But cars and trucks aren't the only things that produce pollution. Power plants that generate electricity by burning fossil fuels also create a lot of CO2.
That means every time you use electricity made from coal or oil, you are helping create pollution and leaving a big carbon footprint on the Earth.
The secret to leaving less of a carbon footprint is to use less energy and use it wisely. Later on, we'll discover wise and unwise ways to use energy. We already know that polluted air is one of the things making the Earth sick. But did you know air pollution also causes something else that is harming the Earth? Acid rain.
When it rains and that rain falls through polluted air, the rain itself becomes polluted. That's what's called acid rain. Acid rain can poison everything it falls on. Animals, trees, rivers, and lakes. It can even corrode stone monuments and buildings.
Here's a little experiment to prove what acid rain can do. You'll need two houseplants that look pretty much alike. It's about 15 inches tall. Place the plants side by side near a window so they receive the same amount of sunlight. Then, whenever the plants need watering, give them the same amount of water.
Only add a few teaspoons of lemon juice or vinegar to one of the plant's water supply.
Then, watch them grow over the next 2 weeks. Chances are, the plant you gave lemon juice or vinegar to isn't going to grow as well as the other one, because, like acid rain, both lemon juice and vinegar are acidic. In fact, the plant will eventually die. That's how acid affects plants. It also affects trees, insects, fish, animals, and humans the same way.
Later on, we'll discover how to cut down on polluting fossil fuels that cause acid rain. But the most important thing you can do right now is to conserve energy. Don't use any more energy than you absolutely have to.
Now, in addition to the atmosphere, there are two other parts of the Earth that are getting sick: the ground we walk on and the water we drink. First, water.
To understand how important water is, we need to realize that the Earth has a limited amount of water, and there are more and more people born every day who need water to survive. Although water is a renewable resource, in many places it's getting used up faster than it's being replaced. Simply put, if we don't conserve water, we can run out of it.
So here are some questions you ought to think about. About how many gallons of water do you use every day? And how could you cut down on that water?
Did you know every time you flush a regular toilet, you use about 5.5 gallons of water? When you take a bath, from 25 to 30 gallons.
If you take long showers, you can use about 50 gallons each time. Your washing machine takes from 25 to 40 gallons to do a single load, and the dishwasher from 9.5 to 12 gallons each time it does the dishes.
So, if you live in a typical home, each member of your family uses about 80 gallons of water a day. Multiply that by the billions of people on Earth, and that's a lot of water we need every day.
Then there's all the water we waste by simply flushing it down the drain. Some of that water ends up polluting our water supply.
Also, some corporations dump poisons into the rivers, lakes, and streams where we get our water. That only makes problems worse.
So, what could you do to change things, since our water supplies are getting smaller and the quality of the water we use is getting worse? Just like the water supply, the Earth's supply of natural resources, things like coal, steel, and natural gas, are being used up. Can you think of good ways to conserve our natural resources?
Here's a question for you. How many things will you throw away today? An empty cereal box, your lunch bag, an empty soda can?
Some papers from school? Stop and think about it for a moment. One way you might conserve natural resources is to use fewer of the things they are made from.
Every year, the typical American family just throws out 2,460 pounds of paper, 540 pounds of metals,
480 pounds of glass, and just as many pounds of food scraps. All told, each of us throws away more than 1,200 pounds of trash per year, far more than people in most other countries. If we didn't throw away so much stuff, we could save a lot of Earth's natural resources. So let's put it all together.
Now that you've got an idea of what's causing some of the Earth's problems, you begin to see that many of them are related.
For example, global warming, air pollution, and acid rain are all mainly caused by burning fossil fuels. If we switch from fossil fuels to some less polluting energy source like wind power, we could start eliminating greenhouse gases, reverse global warming, and help the Earth get better.
There are other things we can do too, like reducing the amount of trash we throw away, using energy wisely, and becoming eco-friendly in everything we do. In our next program, we'll investigate it all in more detail and discover what each of us can do to help. In the meantime, we'd like you to think about the 3 R's.
No, not reading, writing, and arithmetic. There are 3 other R's you should know about, and these can make you an eco-friendly citizen. The first R is refuse.
Refuse to buy things that are bad for the Earth, things that are made of plastic or products that are overpackaged, or things that cannot be used again.
Reuse.
Reuse everything you can.
And recycle.
Recycle as much as you can.
These 3 R's, refuse, reuse, and recycle, allow us to get the most use out of the Earth's precious resources. We'll talk more about that when we get together again.
In the meantime, I'm Michael.
And I'm Andrea. Remember to refuse, reuse,
and recycle.
Bye.